Texas Rangers have the best record in the American League, and they have never defeated Luke Hochevar. Luke's lowest ERA against any AL opponent is against the Rangers, including a 13 strikeout game. The Royals go for the season series with the Rangers tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, where the Royals are trying to finish a 10-game homestand with a winning record, and the season series with the Rangers with a winning record. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. The Royals are 4-4 against the Rangers this year. They're 3-4 against the New York Yankees. They're 9-3 against the Chicago White Sox. That's a record of 16-11 against the three first-place teams in the American League. And Rex Hudler, even though the Royals have had a difficult time with the last-place teams, what does that 16-11 mark really mean?
Well, what it means is they're sending a message to the top teams in the American League, Ryan, about, hey, look, we are not backing down. We're not just trying to spoil games for you the rest of the way here. We mean business, and we're going to close the gap between us and the top. Between now and next year and hopefully 14, we are building our way, and I think it's exciting to watch the way they're doing it. Starting pitching, their defense is outstanding, timely hits. They're building into what potentially could be a great future for this team.
Luke Hochevar trying to bounce back tonight after a bad start against the Twins. His career ERA against the Rangers, 2.78. Kansas City Chevy Dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. By the Missouri Lottery, when you play, students win. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery will talk Luke Hochevar when we come back.
decision against Texas last month. Gave up one earned run in that game, and he's back on the hill tonight. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. In the pregame, we talked about the good and bad of Luke Hochevar. So how do you get the good tonight? What are the keys?
Well, we know he's come off a really bad game, but to be good, it's important for him to be up and down, north and south. He wants to be pitching downhill. He needs to create an illusion that pitchers are going to be in the strike zone. He wants them to finish out of the strike zone. Another key for Luke Hochevar is going to be to get off to a good start, have a strong first inning, strong second inning, and then let things take place from there.
15 times in his career, he has allowed one earned run or less. 14 times, 7 earned runs or more. Royals need the good Luke tonight. First pitch is next.
Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. When the Texas Rangers came to town, they were 6th in the American League in home runs, and now they are 4th as they have hit 8 home runs in this series, and they've scored 13 runs as a result of the home run. Michael Young will play at shortstop tonight. He'll move up to number 2 in the batting order. Josh Hamilton is the designated hitter. Mitch Moreland will be at first with a righty on the mound, and Craig Gentry is in center field, all to face right-hander Luke Hochevar.
Hochevar, he's got 4 nice pitches when he uses them, and they don't turn into 5 or 6. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. Now those are the basic pitches, but he's really good fastball, curveball, changeup. Those are his bread and butter pitches. It's important that he's able to, like Jeff Montgomery said, keep that ball down in the zone, get some early count outs early in this game to rebuild that confidence. Now, he has had success, which is well documented against the Rangers in 5 starts, a 2-0 with a 2.78. So he's got that confidence coming into this start here. He needs it. After that last start he had, Ryan, how did that go?
Well, he was falling behind in the count quite a bit, and he admittedly said that it wasn't just the home runs that he allowed, as he gave up a 3-run home run to Chris Parmalee in the first inning and a grand slam to Joe Mauer in the second. It was the walks that led to the men on base before the home runs. Kinsler jumps on a curve and hits a 2-hopper to Moustakas, and Kinsler is out, number 1.
Okay, defending behind Hochevar, you can expect some dirty Royals out there because they like to lay out. They're young and they make really good plays, especially Escobar Moose on that left side. But Salvador Perez, he'd be happy to throw guys out if anybody attempts to steal. Now, Lorenzo Cain's in there tonight in center field, and Tony Abreu at second base. Those are the only changes from the normal lineup. Both these guys get an opportunity.
And we'll expect to see perhaps quite a bit of Kane in center field in the coming days, as Dyson's shoulder is still bothering him, and David Lowe came out of the game in the 9th inning last night with a strained hamstring.
And Kane, as far as his legs go, I talked to him today. I said, now where are they as far as on a scale of 1 to 10? He says, you know, I'm right at the 10 now. It took me a while, but by golly, better late than never. In September, he's finally fully healthy after all those early season injuries, and he can go get them. Crashes into walls. He's a player. Likes to make the play and the catch.
2-2 on Michael Young, who has homered twice in the series. He had only 4 home runs all year before the series. Hit a key home run on Monday afternoon in the 8th inning. And then he homered again in last night's game.
Batting second tonight.
And that's popped up to the right side. Francoeur will call off Abreu, and there are 2 outs. The cool down has begun, and we've gone to from the upper 90s to around 100 to the low 90s today. A very comfortable 87 degrees tonight. Game started right on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is presented by the parking spot at KCA. Forecast for tomorrow calling for high temperatures in the low 80s.
Beautiful night to play ball in this gorgeous yard. Never gets old coming to this place. This place is, you hear the fountains in the background. It's soothing. Even that hot weather, it just seems to cool you off mentally.
2-0 on Josh Hamilton. He has homered in the series, his 38th of the year, tying him for the league lead. His bat is destroyed, but he's strong enough to hit it out to center field, where Kane makes the play. And a good start for Hochevar as he gets Kinsler, Young, and Hamilton in the first.
Is Sergeant Darren Ivey, as he has been for 18 years, standing there by the Royals dugout and moving on now because of a promotion to captain, and the Royals recognizing him in many ways, showering him with gifts. And Chino Kadahia joined by Darren Ivey to bring out the lineup card, handshakes from both sides and the umpires. Guys, we see these people here on a regular basis, but for players, managers, over the years, 18 years, they have seen Darren Ivey, and they've presented him with a jersey and all kinds of other gifts. It's a fantastic promotion for one of the really good guys down here. We wish him nothing but the best, and I know the players and manager and coaches all feel the same way too.
Day where I came to the ballpark and Darren wasn't in the first base dugout. Here's the Royals lineup tonight. as they will face right-hander Scott Feldman with Lorenzo Cain leading off in center field. Royals are facing Feldman for the third time. Feldman has pitched very well against KC. He is 1-1 against the Royals this year, but even in the loss, he pitched well. He's gone 12 innings against the Royals, and he's allowed just 2 earned runs. 29-year-old, 6'7", Scott Feldman.
Yep, and he is a sinker baller from the word sinker. Keeps that ball down. He likes to give up a lot of ground balls. He'll cut his fastball, curveball, and a changeup, and it has been a little over a month since he got his last win, and it was right here against the Royals. And he went 7 2/3 inning. Just gave up 6 hits and a couple runs, so he's had a little bit of a drought.
And a solid base hit to right field for Lorenzo Cain. His second hit of the series.
Okay, if you're going to be successful against a sinker baller, you have to go the other way, because if you don't, that's a perfect swing right there. If you try to pull him, you roll your top hand over and he gets what he wants, a ground ball out to the left side. That's a perfect stroke off a sinker baller, staying inside the ball. I think his hitting coach Kevin Seitzer happy about that swing.
And now Escobar, who put an end to an 0 for 21 in the game on Tuesday. He is just 2 out of 9 in this series. Cain flinching over on the right side, and he's running, and that was a hit and run as Escobar was trying to protect him, swinging at a pitch that was not a strike.
Yeah, he got a start, and then he had to stop because Feldman didn't go home. And if it was a hit and run, you can't get picked off on a hit and run. You got to make sure the guy goes home. I think Escobar, he was a little bit shocked at the high and tight pitch that came in there, and he's got a piece of it. Hit it off of Soto's wrist.
And now trying to bunt. Escobar takes a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Royals would appear to have their running game in order tonight. You have a tall pitcher, and tall guys usually takes them a while to get unraveled as they're pitching, getting those long limbs pointed in the right direction. He is a sinker baller, so the ball is down. And Soto, since being traded from the Cubs to the Rangers, opponents are 18 out of 18 against him in stolen base attempts.
And you know, you steal bases off of pitchers, but it does help if you have a guy that can get a good throw off with some accuracy. So now with 2 strikes, Beltre will back up at third base. Escobar's not going to bunt with 2 strikes. As if you do, you foul it off, you're out. So go ahead and put it in play, and Escobar does that. He likes to shoot the ball wherever it's pitched. He's a very good number 2 hitter in the order because he can do those things. He can bunt. We know that.
Got a pitch up, and he hits it hard to left. It's sinking on Murphy, who makes a great play.
I'll say, okay, it appeared to be hit harder than it was, and that sometimes will trick an outfielder, especially on the ball right at you coming in, sinking. So he made a good adjustment on that. He came right in and just picked it off the ground. Keeps it in his glove and then holds it up. Woo. Look at the long fingers in those outfielders' gloves. 11.5 inches. That's the rule.
And the way Murphy reacted was as if he wasn't sure the ball was in the glove. He went sliding on his back, and the first thing he did was take a look at his glove to see if the ball was in there.
Sometimes, though, you can feel the ball in the end of those long fingers, depending on your glove style. And he's got one that you can feel it. That's how fine it is for an outfielder in his glove. He can feel if he's got it cupped in that webbing. Sometimes you don't know if it's going to pop out.
Cain still moving around over on the right side. That got Feldman's attention. Strike 1 on Alex Gordon. 3 hits in the series with Texas, including his 11th home run of the year and his 45th double, which leads the league and ties his career high from last year. And he breaks his bat. He gets it past Beltre into left field. Kane stumbles rounding second base, so he has to scurry back, and he gets to the bag in time, and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
Gordon found him a hole early. All right, defensively, sponsored by Ford. You're going to see Gentry in center field tonight. No Hamilton because he's the DH. Michael Young getting his 4th start this year at shortstop. Okay, Kane wasn't sure to make up his mind what he wanted to do. If he would have made up his mind early to go to third, he probably would have made it, but a little hesitation there, slipped and went down and got back.
So 2 on for Billy Butler, who's hit in 7 straight games. He has 5 hits in the series, including a 3-double game last night. Feldman misses down and away, ball 1. Billy has a 12-game hitting streak against the Rangers going back to last year. And he hits over .330 for his career against the Rangers.
And being one of the best hitters in baseball, he knows what Feldman wants to do to him here. He wants him to roll over to a little ground ball double play, but Billy stays inside the ball as good as any I've seen. And that's how you stay away from rolling the top end. I mentioned that. Now, Derek Jeter, Michael Young, those are some other really good inside out hitters in the league. But Billy is holding his own, and his numbers don't lie.
His batting average .313, 8th best in the league. And his RBI total 87 is 9th best in the league.
His numbers are comparable to Beltre's.
Two balls, 1 strike.
And the fact that Billy worked out harder this winter with his lower half, not his upper body, but his lower half, has helped him generate the power that everyone thought he would once have. So Billy Butler's already passed his career high in home runs. He's at 25 now.
That pitch stayed up, and Billy pulls it foul. Not very happy that he didn't do more with that pitch.
But he does look to me like he's trying to pull the ball. And he has been stuck on 25 home runs for quite some time. And his next home run will be the great round number of 100 in his career. So he's a little bit pull happy. And Feldman's throwing him some curveballs on the outer half.
And that was out over the plate. Look out. Thankfully, that ball hit an empty seat. And that was a swing that would suggest Billy was not expecting a fastball.
Nobody fights it off. Good hitters do that. That's right down the middle. He would have been walking back to the dugout had he not swung at that. So Gordon at first base can get a big lead. Moreland, the first baseman's playing off of him. So if there is a ground ball, he's got a chance to get a piece of somebody out there around the bag.
Fouled away again.
It's part of baseball, breaking up a double play. I like how Billy's taxing his pitch count. Enough to where Soto is going to go out there and talk to him a little bit. Moreland's going to join, saying, man, how are we going to get this guy out? So the pitcher, Feldman, covers his mouth with his glove. Didn't want anybody lip reading on it. Billy's a .313 hitter with a runner at second base and beyond in scoring position.
And Feldman strikes him out. Got him with a fastball away. And that is out number 2.
Okay, Soto wanted it in, but it was away and it was well located. Good spot down and off the plate. And
now it's Salvador Perez. He has a 10-game hitting streak. And this was something you and I discussed before the game. You know, there's been so much talk about Alex Gordon moving down to number 3 from the leadoff spot, and maybe not enough talk about how well Salvador Perez is hit batting 5th.
Well, those positions are important, that you have some protection behind one of your best hitters in Billy Butler. And Salvador Perez hasn't even played a full season in the big leagues, and already he's shown his manager and his team and those around the American League that he plays against that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he already is at such a young age. He can hit to the opposite field. He's got really nice gap power that way, and he can hit homers that way, and then he'll pull the ball. He has a very good knack of reacting. He's loose, his hands are loose, and he just looks to drive the ball.
2 balls, no strikes. And he's so big and strong, Perez is, that, you know, he just kind of lets his natural strength take care of the force behind the ball. You never see him come out of his shoes with a big swing. When he has 2 strikes, he's very good at shortening his swing.
Now he's looking to drive 2-0.
3 balls, no strikes.
And there's some respect. 2-0 changeup. Now, I'm going to give Salvador the green light 3-0 here. That's how good he's been lately. If you're not going too good, there's no sense in swinging 3-0. But if you're going good and you have some run production in you like he does, why not take a shot 3-0?
And it's 3-1.
Hey, no big deal. Didn't want to swing. It's fine. And it wasn't even straight. He threw a little cutter.
Just showed you that since moving to the number 5 position, he has 15 RBIs in 25 games. That would project out to about a 100 RBI season. Runners take off on 3-1. Soto doesn't think about throwing. So Kane moves up on his 8th stolen base. Gordon to second on his 9th stolen base, and now 2 in scoring position for Perez.
Boy, Salvador, if Salvi swings at that could be a 3-run homer. That was a beautiful hanging slider.
And line to Kinsler. So you got a good pitch. He put a good swing on it, but he hit it right into the Rangers defense.
Is to try to retire perhaps the hottest hitter in baseball, and the numbers would back that up, not just on what Adrian Beltre has done in this series, Listen to this. Here's one reason for the smile, guys. Since August 22nd, Beltre, 439 batting average, tops in the majors. 10 homers, tops in the majors. 25 hits, most in the big leagues. 20 RBIs, most in the big leagues. And a slugging percentage, check this out, 1.140, most in the majors. That is just a little bit higher than number 2, Jay Bruce, 857 slugging percentage. Adrian Beltre is the hottest player on the planet over the last couple of weeks.
You got that right, Goldie, and doesn't look like he's letting up much either. This road trip, he's been on 10-game road trip, sitting 462. Man, he's on fire. So you know what you do to a guy like that is you just concentrate on hitting your spots away. You're going to pitch him inside, jam him, come way in. Don't just pitch it 2 inches in off the plate, because he'll hit that. When a hitter's hot, he's looking for the ball anywhere. It doesn't have to be right down the middle, but he don't miss when it's in the middle.
It's that deep into the right field corner and just foul.
Because hitters will tell you, Ryan, that when they're in a groove like this, the ball looks like a beach ball. It's huge. It's amazing how that happens. And when things aren't going good, it looks like a golf ball. But that's just the way a hitter thinks, and that ball just went foul, hitting off the wall there. He's had 4 home runs and 7 ribbies on this 10-game road trip.
2 of those home runs in this series, including a 3-run home run in the first inning last night. Ochever got a pitch in and on him, and it's still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Even when Beltre's not in this huge tree that he's in right now, he still adds value to his team with his leadership ability in the clubhouse and that gold glove he wears at third base. He's going to beat you in a couple different ways.
Just got a piece of that pitch, still 2-2.
It's because the guy loves to play. He's happy. He comes out with energy. He plays like a kid. It's like Salvador Perez and Escobar. Those guys all have that energy and that exuberance of a young kid. He has that, Beltre does.
How does he see the pitcher?
I don't know. He pulls
as far down as his helmet is pulled down.
He does. He told me he doesn't like the pitchers to see his eyes.
He might be even better if he pulled the bill of the helmet up. He might be able to see the pitcher. Might be able to see the pitch.
I've heard Jeff Montgomery, our Hall of Fame closer here that's on our team, talk about how he liked to look at guys in the eyes. Pitchers will do that. I don't know why.
And Beltre, when he really gets into a swing, he will go down to a knee, and his bat slices, split down the middle.
Hey, he's got a tremendous AB going here, and that's a pitch he likes. He just couldn't quite stay on it, but we've seen him hit homers like that. He thought that bat was going to die a hero, but it didn't, and he's going to smell the wood on that and say, that smells good.
He has fouled off 6 straight pitches.
If you can throw a high fastball, you better get it up. There you go. That's how you pitch him.
One of the great things about Beltre, I guess he's figured out over his career that it looks better when the hitter is asking for an appeal than the catcher, because he will do that very often. He won't wait for somebody else to say, hey, was that a swing? He'll ask the first base umpire, was that a swing?
And that's just part of his exuberance. There you go. That high fastball. Good spot there. Yeah, you get that high fastball, it looks good. And we saw him earlier in this series in the first game hit a high fastball out of the park off of Bruce's chin. But that was better located.
And now Nelson Cruz. You know, it's a subtle thing and not a big deal, but as we're praising Adrian Beltre, you know, he just swung at a bad pitch. He swung at a pitch that there's nothing he could do with. But after the swing, he just kind of paused in the batter's box, tapped his helmet with his bat as if to say, okay, nothing I can do with that pitch. mental note next at bat, and I guarantee you he didn't go to the dugout and tear the dugout to pieces because he swung at a bad pitch. He knows he's got 3 or 4 more at bats tonight.
And he knows a professional like Hochevar with really good stuff got him out. So another pro got him out. He's going to, that's what a professional does. Says, I'll get you next time. Okay, here's Beltre. Couldn't get around on it. Says, all right, that's a pretty good at bat. I'll get him next time.
Ball 1-2, David Murphy.
But that takes a while. I mean, he's got way over 10 years in the big leagues now, so he's well seasoned. But young guys, they get their temper gets so. Oh,
well, that's why I pointed that out, because I'm picturing younger players swinging at a pitch like that, and they throw their head back in the air, and they're just
dramatic.
Just so upset with themselves and just falling to pieces as they're walking back to the dugout. Fouled away by Murphy. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Doesn't look good when you swing at a pitch like that, but he's over it.
Okay, Hochevar in the first inning threw 11 pitches, and it took him 10 just to get out their hottest hitter.
Ooh. Great pitch. Murphy strikes out. 2 perfect innings for Hochevar. He strikes out 2 in the second inning.
Murphy, he's got to go.
In multiple ways. For the past 14 years, he has worked full-time for the St. Joe Fire Department, and in 2009 was named the Firefighter of the Year. In addition, for the past 12 years, he has worked part-time as a cath lab technician at Heartland Regional Hospital. He has also served on the Senior Leadership Committee for the Missouri Children's Burn Camp, which is held each summer. And deserving of the spot and the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game.
I think it's great that the Royals do that and honor Buck O'Neil and those that are worthy in the community to sit there. Way to go, Mikey. Way to give, way to serve.
Mike Moustakas hitless last night. That put an end to a 9-game hitting streak. Batting at .252 with 19 home runs. Slow breaking ball, and Moustakas is out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Okay, Royals hitters made Feldman work in that first inning, and they almost came away with a couple of runs. Had that line drive Salvador hit, wasn't right at Kinsler.
Still 1-2.
Feldman's bread and butter is the sinker.
He's had a bit of a roller coaster ride lately. His first 12 appearances, well, not lately, but the whole season. First 12 appearances, 0-6 with an ERA of 6.5. Then he went 6-0, and now in his last 5, 0-5, again with a very high ERA. It's pretty dramatic. Talk about hot or cold. Yeah, he is either blazing hot or ice cold.
Those are extremes. And so when you got a guy on the downslope like he has his last 5, you get that big hit in the first inning, and you put some self-doubt in his mind. He had no doubt about pitching Moose there. He pretty much abused him. A lot of breaking balls early to Moose, and then he finishes him off with a hard sinker on the inner half.
Feldman is a draft success story. The Rangers got him in the 30th round back in 2003. Got to the big leagues 2 years later. Ball 1 to Jeff Francoeur, and for his first 3 years, Feldman was mostly in the bullpen, back and forth between the big leagues and AAA, and then moved to the rotation in 08. And in 2009, he went 17-8 for the Rangers. Francoeur soaring deep to left field, gone.
Frenchie says, man, this has been way too long. I'm having a down season, and I haven't hit a homer in a long time. Take that ball. That's down below the knees, and he put on natural lift to it. He's trying to get away from wrapping his bat around his head, but it worked that time. And it was a no-doubter. It went beyond the fountain. It went in the little cabbage patch up there they got between the stands. Isn't that what they grow out there? Because then don't fans take the leaves and put them on their heads here and cool off during the summer?
Or they can make a nice salad if they'd like. Don't tell the Rabbits that. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hosmer. Eric had a 2 stolen base game last night. He had 14 this year. He's only been thrown out once. Now his job is to swing the bat and swing the bat with power, and the Royals are confident that he's going to get that back next year. Just maybe needs to go home and rest his brain for a few months.
Well, he's got loads of talent, but he's had a hard time adjusting to the league this year. And he got up to such a slow start that he thought that I had to swing harder to get it all back. And being a young player, sometimes that can be a trap that you fall into, and unfortunately he hasn't really been able to come out of it, although we are seeing a good month from him. We did in August and here in September, but you could see his first couple of swings how long they are, and his head seems to pull off the ball sometimes. So he's going to have to shorten up that swing a little bit and keep that front foot from jumping out too far. Keeps him off balance, but he's got loads of potential.
Popped up, and Michael Young backing up onto the grass brings it down for the 2nd out.
I talked to Michael Young before the game today. I said, 4th start at shortstop this year? What do you have to say for yourself? He says, I can't wait. He loves it. He says shortstop's the best position on the field.
A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tony Abreu had a pair of 3 RBI games during this homestand, back-to-back. Drove in 3 runs on Sunday against Minnesota, and then 3 more on Monday afternoon. He is very aggressive. I would bet that more than 50% of his at-bats he has been down in the count, either 0-2 or 1-2. If it's close early, he's hacking.
No. Hey, look, 2 years in the minor leagues since the last time he was in the show. He says, I'm going to hack because they're not going to send me back. And that's what you do. You got to be aggressive and get after it. And he has now 10 RBIs, and now this is his 11th game. They wanted him to, just play some good defense and help him out around the diamond. And his first start was at third base. In Chicago, he was awesome, made some great plays, and they moved him over to second base, then to shortstop, and he's been flawless in the field.
One ball, 2 strikes. Mentioned this note after his second 3 RBI game on Monday. He had a 3 RBI game in his first 153 games. And then he had back-to-back on Sunday and Monday. And Soto hangs on, so it's a foul tip strikeout. Feldman strikes out 2 in the inning. But Jeff Francoeur with 1 out hits a line drive home run to left, and the Royals lead 1-0.
Pilot to Bombardier, open them doors up for Frenchie.
And on the next homestand, we'll have the Angels, the White Sox, and the Indians in town, including a Buck Night, September 14th, and Fireworks Friday. Tickets at Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS. That September 14th game is against the Angels. So hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks, just $1 each. And then fireworks after the game, presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Luke Hochevar's retired the first 6. And a good pitch to Soto. No balls, 2 strikes. Luke has 2 strikeouts tonight. He got Beltre and Murphy in the second. It'll be Soto, Mitch Moreland, and Craig Gentry here in the third. One and 2. Soto hit the first of the 8 home runs for the Rangers in the series. A 3-run shot in the game on Monday afternoon. That's his only hit of the series. And he grounds it right to Moustakas. Right on target over to Hosmer, and now Hochevar's retired the first 7. Royals losing a 1-run game last night, but as we look at our Toyota League leaders, most 1-run wins. And the Royals sandwiched in between a couple of good teams. The Orioles, who are playing the Yankees right now, they're in second place in the East. And the Royals are 1 one-run win in front of the White Sox, who lead the Central.
I'll tell you, one of the big reasons, too, is their bullpen. I mean, their bullpen is solid. The Royals got some scud throwers. I mean, guys that throw really hard out there. You got Herrera throws 100, Crow mid-90s, maybe 96. You got Tim Collins, who throws a mid-90s fastball with good curveball. And
Greg
how
Holland.
about Holland, their closer, who's been perfect? He's another mid to upper 90s guy.
Jeremy Jeffress.
Right. So you have some guys at the back end. When you have a lead past the 7th inning, they're not going to be perfect all the time, but for the most part, they're going to win a lot of their share of 1-run games. And that pen, they're tight out there. They're a close-knit bunch.
There's Will Smith out there hanging out with the relievers on the right side of the screen.
Just getting jiggy with it.
He's doing what?
That's our guy, Will Smith, the actor.
2 balls, 1 strike.
But you know,
is that a Will Smith song?
Yes, that's Fresh Prince, isn't it?
Okay.
That is a song.
I know the song. Just didn't realize that was a Will Smith song.
No. Oh, all right. Get jiggy with it.
Moreland hits it high and deep to right field. Francoeur runs it down on the track. And now Hochevar's retired the first 8.
Okay, Frenchie, good break. Takes a peek at where the wall is. Catches it right in the heel.
And so 2 down to Craig Gentry, who has only appeared in this series defensively. So he gets to start in center field as Josh Hamilton shifts over to the designated hitter tonight, and Michael Young plays in the field. So with all the shuffling around, Gentry's in there and Elvis Andrus is out. 2 balls, no strikes. Gentry out of the University of Arkansas, drafted in 2006. And he's hitting .305 for the Rangers as their 4th outfielder, although he's struggled recently. Gentry has just 5 hits in his last 36 at-bats. 2-1.
Hard when you get part-time play. Timing's not there. He's a nice player, though. He covers some ground for you out there. If you let him play every day, well, he might hit you 260 and steal some bases. But when you got a team like the Rangers have, where you got nothing but star production out there, especially with David Murphy's year he's having this year, there's not any room. Murphy, Hamilton, and Cruz.
Good breaking ball, struck him out. 3 strikeouts for Luke Hochevar and 3 perfect innings. The Royals lead 1-0. Saturday, September 15th, as the Royals host the Angels. We will celebrate Armed Forces Day here at Kauffman Stadium, presented by the National World War I Museum at Liberty Memorial, and presented by Budweiser. Arrive early for a special pregame ceremony honoring our servicemen and women. Plus, the first 20,000 fans will receive a camouflage KC cap presented by Sport Clips. For tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS.
I want one of those hats. Think we can get a couple hats up here, you think?
Sure. Below the knees and ball one to Lorenzo Cain, leading off tonight. And in the first inning, he singled to right, stole third in the inning, but was stranded there. In the second inning, with one out, Jeff Francoeur hit a line drive home run to left. And that's a smash past the diving Beltre. Lorenzo Cain is 2 for 2 tonight, and he's at second base with nobody out in the third.
I had a nice little talk with Lorenzo before the game today, saying, Lo, what do you got to do to get going again? Lo Cain, he said, you know what? I've been thinking too much up there. I got to be more aggressive. So that's what he's doing. He's being aggressive. That first hit of the game, that might have got him locked. That opposite field stroke, he stayed inside of that ball. Now here we go. That's all it takes sometimes.
Escobar lost a hit on a dive in left field by Murphy, so he's 0 for 1. Rangers think he might bunt. They have the corners in on the edge of the grass, and Escobar is swinging away and fouls it back.
But you could tell that was an inside-out swing. So even on a high fastball, he's still telling his manager, Ned Yost, that I'm trying to make a productive out to the right side. He's a smart number 2 hitter. His number will tell you that. He's ready.
And that's actually the genesis of the numbers on the back of the jerseys. If history serves me, that it was the Yankees who first started putting numbers on the jerseys. Babe Ruth was the number 3 hitter, so he was number 3.
Lou was 4.
And again, trying to go to the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yep, he fooled him there. Now he's still going to try to move it that way, but if he gets an inside strike, managers don't mind with 2 strikes if you go ahead and pull it, because you can get him over and in if you pull it as well. But tied him up.
Cain takes off for third, and no throw from Soto.
And he got a really good jump. That pitch was close to being a strike. But now Cain got him over so Escobar could try to get him in. See the jump? Watch the fingers as Cain's fingers got a little bit tied into that bag there. Be careful. Make sure you get those fingers up when you slide head first so you don't jam them into the base.
And the Rangers will bring the infield in all the way with nobody out. That's ball 3 and a full count to Escobar. Don't normally see this early in a 1-0 game with nobody out, bringing the infield in all the way.
Okay, here's Lorenzo slide. Now see that left hand is up. That's exactly what you want to do. It was the right hand that I thought maybe it got jammed onto the base, but that was a good head first slide there, keeping the fingers up. Infield comes in 3-2. You're looking for something out over to hit it right back up the middle.
And he got him with a fastball away. Feldman has struck out 4.
Okay, really good at bat there. He missed. Fouled some pitches off. Feldman made a good pitch on it.
So this could be in respect to the way Luke Hochevar has pitched to bring the infield in this early. Hochevar, as you pointed out, has always pitched well against the Rangers. He has 3 perfect innings tonight, but it is still very early to be bringing the infield in this tight. Hochevar's ERA is 5.3. Feldman's is over 5. So at least if you tried to predict what was going to happen tonight, you wouldn't figure it would be a low-scoring game. And that's not the way Ron Washington's going to play it. He's going to play it as if it will be a low-scoring game. Hit hard up the right field line. Fair ball. So Alex Gordon drives in Kane, and Alex is going to head for third. That is his 4th triple of the year. His 14th RBI in his last 14 games. And the Royals lead 2-0.
Okay, it was off the end of the bat, but who cares? He got him an RBI on that one with a nice little soft thing down the right field line. Hit it off the end, and he's talking to it, hoping it stays fair. It did by a foot. And, you know, he's not worried about that doubles record, or he might have just stopped at second base. He says, you know what? Less than 2 outs? I'm going to third so we can score some more runs here. Because he does have a nice doubles thing going.
Yeah, he's 9 shy of the team record. He has 45. Hal McRae had 54 in 1977. And the Rangers will keep the infield in with Billy Butler coming up. Feldman struck him out swinging in the first inning.
Hall of Fame hitter Rod Carew would teach, when he was a hitting coach for the Angels, he would teach his hitters when the infield came in, just try to shorten up your swing and hit it right back up the middle.
Beltre comes in and throws out Butler.
You see that little, hey, I know you're there. Beltre caught it, and before he threw it, he knew he had time with Butler running. Took a little peek at Gordon, says, don't try to go home on this one.
Just such a unique way of planting his feet and throwing. I mean, there's really no use the back foot, stride forward and throw. It's almost just like he jumps and plants both feet. And after that, it's all hips and shoulders. Ball 1 to Perez.
It's quicker that way. We see him do that a lot on his plays. But he knows how important it is to set your feet when you play on the left side of the diamond. You got a long throw across it. To be accurate, you got to set them up right.
Perez comes through. He lined out with 2 on in the first inning, and he hits it hard again to the right side. Drives in Alex Gordon, and the Royals have a 3-0 lead. And now Salvador Perez has stretched his hitting streak to 11 games.
Another 2-out RBI. Oh, see that head position never even moved. Stayed right on the ball.
Stock has started his swing. It's called a strike. And Feldman struck him out looking in the second inning.
Want to know one of the reasons why Salvador's been so good in that 5th spot behind Billy Butler? Because any scraps, any runs that are out, that are left out there from Billy that Billy doesn't drive in, Salvi gets him. He's hitting .391 with 2 outs when runners in scoring position.
which most people would describe as the most clutch of situations. So now, as the number 5 hitter this year, 16 RBIs in 26 games, which is right at a 100 RBI season. Really trying to get Moustakas to chase an off-speed pitch down and out of the strike zone.
It's because the first at-bat, Moose was swinging at those down and off the plate. So catchers and pitchers, they're going to keep doing it until you discipline yourself to lay off of it. They'll keep doing it up there, and Moose is offering.
Got the call. Borderline pitch at the knees. Feldman strikes out Moustakas again. But it's a 2-run inning for the Royals. A double by Kane, a triple by Gordon, and another clutch hit from Salvador Perez. His team and having some cotton candy. Coming up, speaking of future, Futures Night, Friday, September 14th against the Angels. The Royals will salute our minor league players, and select players will be available for autographs before the game. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Nine up, 9 down for the Rangers against Luke Hochevar. They continue to struggle to figure him out, and there's a curve that bends in for a strike to Ian Kinsler. Kinsler opened the game with a ground out to third base. Hochevar has struck out 3 tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kinsler, Young, and Hamilton here in the 4th inning, second time through the order. And as the Rangers as a team start searching for answers on how to figure out Luke Hochevar, it probably doesn't start with Ian Kinsler. The best he has done against Hochevar in the past is get drilled by a pitch. That's the only way he's gotten on. Otherwise, 0 for 12. And that looked like a pretty hittable pitch, but couldn't pull the trigger. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's really only been 1 hard hit ball in the first 3 innings, and that was Moreland lining out to deep right field.
And you know, hitters know that. They know their numbers against a certain pitcher, and if they're good, they're like, all right, yeah. And that's a little confidence going in. And if they're not so good, there's a, oh, this guy has been tough on me. So right away, when you hear guys talk about the game being mental, there it is. Before you even come out there on the field, you already are like, oh man, I've struggled against this guy. That's a negative thought.
And you probably start swinging at pitches like Kinsler did when you know you're 0 for against a certain pitcher.
And as a pitcher, Hochevar, he says, wow, my last outing was terrible. But you know what, though? I deal against the Rangers. I'm 2-0 in 5 starts against them. So here's the positive coming in. Hochevar comes in here, gets on the mound, says, all right, I've dealt on these guys. And that's the positive that you want to keep in your mind if you can.
Ron Washington has never defeated Luke Hochevar since taking over as manager of the Rangers. Speaking of managers, in our Sprint You Call It question for tonight, who do you think, as of today, is the American League Manager of the Year? And these are 4 surprise teams. Ball 1 to Michael Young. Joe Madden. The Rays just continue to compete despite losing players to free agency or trades or injuries. The Oakland A's. Who would have thought? You're a genius if you figure the Oakland A's would be where they are now. Same for the Orioles. And then there's Robin Ventura with a team that made very little changes during the offseason, but now they're winning. The one change was at manager, as Michael Young is the Rangers' first base runner. He's at first with 1 out. So text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, the space, and then A, B, C, or D. Hud, who do you like on that list?
You know what? Being friends with all 4 of those guys, I'd like to see them all win it. Madden's won 2 already. Ventura's in his rookie year as a manager. Wow, I mean, you know, what a job. No one expected the White Sox to do what they're doing. They expected them to be in a rebuilding year. But I think he deserves a lot of credit for bringing basically his own coaching staff in, thanks to his owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, who let him do that. Mark Parent came in. He brought in Jeff Manto as a hitting coach. You know, I think Buck Showalter, if they continue to go hard in the East and challenge it, you got to give it to him. But I'd like to see Ventura win it too.
That ball is drilled to deep right field and gone. So after retiring the first 10, Hochevar gives up a single. And a laser beam home run off the bat of Josh Hamilton, his 39th of the year. And now it's a 3-2 game.
Okay, just like that, the Rangers can get back in a game. And that ball went a long ways for having topspin on it. You see, he lifted it. He's got that natural home run swing coming from a very relaxed position. A lot of homers that are struck have backspin on it. It helps with the carry of the baseball. But that one had a little topspin on it. But he got it high enough to where it got out. So now Hochevar's saying, uh-oh, it's that guy Beltre again. At least there's nobody on.
And that ball's hit hard to center field. Kane is back at the wall. It's over his glove. Back-to-back home runs, Hamilton and Beltre. Beltre has hit 3 in the series and now 30 on the year. And the game is tied at 3.
That's his 3rd homer in this series. And 2 of the 3 homers was sliders just like this. And I mean, he barreled that up. Straightaway center here at the K, running Lorenzo Cain into the wall at 410 feet. That's a bomb.
And now all of a sudden, home runs have become a problem for Hochevar. Even when he had gotten knocked around early in the season, it wasn't because of the long ball. But with 2 home runs tonight, now Luke has allowed 10 home runs in his last 6 starts. And he was really hurt by the home run on Saturday against Minnesota. 3-run home run and a grand slam in the first 2 innings.
Ouch. So he just finding too much of the middle. And big innings early in the season were a problem for Hochevar. We'd had problems, you know, giving up 4 or 5 runs in an inning. Hopefully he'll put an end to this right here. make some quality pitches against these guys. Quality strikes or strikes out of the strike zone that are on the corners.
Stays aggressive with a fastball, and he throws it by Nelson Cruz. That's the 9th time this year the Texas Rangers have hit back-to-back home runs. A staggering number, at least to me. When they had 5 home runs on Monday, that was the 4th time this year that they've had 5 or more home runs in a game. Rangers are 4th in the league in home runs, so that's down by their recent standards, but it hasn't affected their offense. They still lead the league in runs scored. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now, Ron Washington, he's done a very good job as long as he's been the manager here for the Rangers. In 46 years in the organization, you know, when they were Washington Senators and they moved out to Texas, they only had 1 playoff victory until Washington got there. And Washington now and the Rangers have won 18 playoff wins. They have 18 wins.
And to add to your point, Hud, he became the manager in 2007, and they have gotten better every year. They've gone from 75 wins in 07 to 96 last year, which is a franchise record. And they might win more than 96 this year. A walk after Cruz was down 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now 4 straight have reached against Hochevar in the 4th. Ron Washington already 2nd on the all-time wins list for the Rangers, trailing
Johnny Oates.
Past Johnny Oates.
Bobby Valentine.
Bobby Valentine, who probably dreams about the Texas Rangers at night these days. Murphy hits it well into left center field. Kane is there for the out. Murphy is 0 for 2. 2 down. On the radar gun tonight, Feldman up to 93, Hochevar at 95. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Ball 1 to Soto. He was out on a ground ball to third in the 3rd inning. Texas Rangers have hit 10 home runs in this 4-game series. They have scored 21 runs, and 16 of the 21 have been the result of a home run. Soto got underneath it, and now it's Gordon into left center, and that's the inning. Back-to-back home runs. Hamilton a 2-run shot, Beltre a solo shot, and that ties the game at 3. to you by your Midwest Ford dealer. And by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. 3-3 tie. Now, interesting. This is the Rangers in the dugout after hitting 2 home runs in the 4th.
Okay, Kinsler's going, I think I got him. Watch what he's doing. See, come set here, and he's looking. See, that's what hitters do. Except you don't do what Kinsler's doing out where the camera can see it, because now we talk about it. But that's what hitters do. They say, hey, I might have picked up something on him, a tendency here. We can guess it was curveball, or maybe he's doing something. So, but that's what hitters do.
And it looked like, now we were seeing Kinsler from behind. We weren't reading his lips, but it looked like he was keying on what Luke does with his head after he comes set. It looked like he gave us 2 different versions. The first version was, head down.
He comes set.
And then the next version, he comes set. Then he comes set, and then he looks down and then looks up again and then pitches. Another good swing for Francoeur, but he's going to line to Gentry in center field. Francoeur homered first time up. So Feldman, who is down 3-0, is pitching in a 3-3 tie. That question has come up several times with Luke Hochevar, when he'll have an outing where he just embarrasses an opponent's lineup and then gets knocked around a few times. The question comes up, is he tipping his pitches? And
happens all the time.
Doesn't matter how good you are, if a big league hitter knows what's coming. I mean, you could be Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Cy Young, and Sandy Koufax all bundled into one, and you're still going to get knocked around.
Well, it doesn't guarantee just because you might know what's coming that you're going to be able to hit it, but it sure gives a big leaguer a lot better advantage when he knows what's coming, or he thinks he knows. And maybe they don't have anything on him, but they're trying to pick some stuff on him.
Now Kinsler, he almost overran that ball. Went over to backhand it, but fielded the ball between his legs and throws out Hosmer, who's 0 for 2.
Okay, so typically what you want your pitcher to do after your offense is just put 3 runs on the board, is get the opponents 1, 2, 3. And Feldman is working on that right here. And that way you keep the momentum on your side.
2 hard hit balls so far, with a line out to center and a hard hit ball to second. And now Abreu, he struck out his first time, and he hits a little bloop out to short, and that's a 7-pitch inning. So he does exactly that. He gets the offense back into the dugout. At the end of 4, the Royals and Rangers are tied at 3. some young Royals attending their first game. If you're single and looking to mingle, you can get a head start on your weekend by coming out to Singles Night presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. That's Thursday, September 20th against the White Sox. A $15 ticket includes $10 in loaded value and access to a pregame party with DJ Ashton Martin at the Captain Morgan Bar starting at 5:30. Again, that's Thursday, September 20th, if you're single and looking to mingle. Mitch Moreland lined to deep right in the third inning. I was on a caravan once with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White, and he was sitting at an autograph table, and a female fan shows up with a little baby carrier and a baby in there about 2 or 3 months old, and she just drops that carrier on the table in front of Frank and says, "You are responsible for this." And we all just dropped our forks and were ready to just fall out of our chairs like, whoa. Now, I didn't study biology, but I could tell that there would be a problem as far as Frank being the father of this child based on skin color.
Was that what she meant?
Well, that's what we all thought for a moment there. But there's a happy ending to the story. A young gentleman came in behind her, and she explained that she was a big fan of Frank's, and on Frank White night at the ballpark, she wanted to come out and see his number retired, and she just happened to be sitting next to a young man she had never met before. They struck up a conversation. They ended up exchanging phone numbers. They went out on a date. They got married, and that was their first child. So there you go. Come out to singles night at the ballpark. I mean, I've seen firsthand what can happen if you come out to the ballpark and you meet a like-minded fan that
I bet for a while, though, until she introduced her husband, probably was some uncomfort there.
Oh yeah.
You're the reason?
Yeah. Well, it was uncomfortable, but we were all kind of leaning in to hear where this was going to go.
Frank.
Yeah. Oh. And he handled it great. But that was the first thing that popped into my mind when I'm thinking of singles night. If you're a big Royals fan, you might run into another Royals fan who's looking to mingle.
Mingle for the future.
There you go. Who knows? Maybe they just met each other an inning ago. She's explaining baseball to him. Yeah, I can see that. It's looking a little uncomfortable. He's got that look in his eyes like he's smitten, but the words just aren't coming, you know?
You know, the way they like to entertain the fans here with that beautiful big high-def scoreboard in center field. Maybe they could put him on the kiss cam.
Yeah,
and that would, you know,
that's always an icebreaker.
Yeah, there's an icebreaker. Hey, look. And they see themselves on and oh, hey.
Oh, okay. That was earlier tonight.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she brought her parents to the game. You know, I mean, that's a little uncomfortable. But that guy was smart. You know, he saw Dad was looking the other way, and she's still pointing. Now that's the left fielder out there. She's saying, which one? 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gentry. You can't beat fun at the old ballpark, Hud.
Nope, especially on singles night. Folks want to sign up for that. Well, you don't have to sign up, just get a ticket and come.
And Gentry got a pitch up and lines it into center field. He's 1 for 2. So the Rangers were hitless for 3 1/3 innings. In fact, they didn't have a single base runner for 3 1/3 innings. And now they have 5 over the last inning, if you're going by outs.
Okay, so here comes Kinsler, who thinks he might have found something in Hochevar's delivery.
Or maybe it's just wishful thinking, because remember, Kinsler shouldn't be the expert on Luke Hochevar because now he's 0 for 13 against him.
Well, that's because he's studying him even more. He's like, you know what, I got to figure out a pattern on this guy. I got to figure out some way to get an advantage on him. So he got Beltre's attention and said, you know, maybe I got something. Gentry's leaning.
Slide step. And Kinsler pops it up to Alcides Escobar. 2 down. Time for tonight's AT&T trivia question.
All right, bring it.
We were stumped last night. Who are the 4 players to win the Royals Triple Crown? Are we talking pitching or hitting? The 4 Royals, okay, 4 Royals players to win the Triple Crown. So which Royal, obviously not in the league because the last Triple Crown winner was in 1967 before the Royals came into existence, but 4 Royals who have led the team in batting average, home runs, and RBIs in one season. You don't hear about the Triple Crown when it comes to pitching, but that title does come up when a pitcher leads the league in wins, earned run average, and strikeouts. There's no Triple Crown award, but that's the loose definition of the pitching Triple Crown. But we're talking batting average, home runs, and RBIs for the Royals in one season. Perez to first. Salvador Perez is a sniper.
I'll say 4th pickoff on the year. Right on the money, honey. Out.
Three is the score here, so great job by Salvi, former Omaha Storm Chaser, and the Storm Chasers right now, after winning behind Jake Odorizzi and Will Myers last night, up 3-0 in the 6th inning, and it is Ryan Verdugo, who we saw briefly here this year, pacing the Storm Chasers, 5 2/3, 5 hits allowed. A couple of other quick notes for you guys. First off, they're facing the Dodgers affiliate, and I failed to mention this last night, but interesting that Tom Gordon's son is on that team, Andy Van Slyke's son is on that team, Tony Gwynn's son is on that team, along with former Kansas City Royal Josh Fields. So Kind of interesting to see that. Also should point out that Wilmington wins tonight to even up their best-of-3 series in the first round, 1-1, behind a very good pitching performance from Blue Valley Northwest grad Jason Adam.
Hey, Joel.
Hey, Hud.
Hello. Oh, I want to see him beat that out. Is Matt Wallach on that team? Tim Wallach, the third baseman of the Dodgers, a great player in the big leagues. Is his son on that team?
If he is, he's not playing.
So that would add another ex-big league son.
Hey, Joel, while we have you, we were rudely interrupted by a Josh Hamilton home run. Your thoughts on American League Manager of the Year?
Well, I agree with Hud, and while none of them are friends of mine, I do think that they are all worthy, and Joe Madden is my favorite manager. But I think, we've grown accustomed to seeing his team up there this year. Nobody expected the White Sox, so I don't want to slight Robin Ventura. But he has guys doing this year what they should have done last year in Rios and Dunn, so you can understand that a little bit. To me, it's either Melvin or Showalter. But with the amount of changes that they have made in Baltimore this year, I mean, they have shuffled in and out more pitchers and players and finessed that roster. So maybe this is some GM and some not. And you add in the fact that they're doing it in the American League East, against the Rays, against the Yankees, and yes, the Red Sox are struggling, but against the Red Sox, I'm going with Buck Showalter.
1-2 strikes. I'm going to go with Bob Melvin.
It's been amazing.
It's the A's are farther back in the standings than the Baltimore Orioles are, but they have the exact same record, and it's going to be more difficult as of today. Even though Oakland and Baltimore are both tied for the wild card, they're both going for the division. So as far as the division goes, it'll be more difficult for Oakland. But as impressive as Buck Showalter and the Orioles have been, I think they had a better shot of competing this year because there were signs last year than the Oakland A's did. But I don't think there's any right answer.
I think that those two, though, Ryan, Melvin,
absolutely,
the unbelievable turnaround. I mean, in the one sense, with the Orioles, just the fact that they've done it all year long. From the A's standpoint, it was like you looked up and suddenly this team that was out of it was completely in the race and a factor. And I would say, while I pointed out that the Orioles have to deal with what I think is the toughest division in baseball in the American League East, the A's are competing, and even more games in the smaller division, against the Angels and against the Rangers.
Well, the Orioles are presently on top of the New York Yankees 6-2 in the 8th, so they're looking to draw even with them.
Let me throw this out for discussion. Is the East the most difficult division?
I think it is.
I say yes.
Well, Toronto below 500, Boston below 500, big trouble. Tampa Bay 13 games above 500. I think the Yankees are on their way down. And they had a big lead earlier, but that team is starting to catch up with them. I mean, they won the season series with the Royals, but that's not the same Yankees team that would put fear into you like in years past. So, and I'm not disagreeing with you guys. Maybe it still is the toughest division, but it's not as tough as it used to be.
You know where the tide has turned a little bit, because that division is so tough because the Red Sox primarily were doing everything they could to keep up with the high-spending Yankees. And obviously the Rays have gone about it a different way. The Blue Jays have a lot of talent, and they'd be much better in a different division. But I almost think that there's a similar factor with the way Artie Moreno has spent in Anaheim. And you almost have this spending war now between the Rangers and the Angels, and that's made that a power division.
Yeah, and I was going to mention the East. One of the reasons is that they have the funds to buy players now. It's not a known fact that you can't buy a championship. It has to work on the field in the clubhouse. You have to have team chemistry, but the money is in the East. And I agree with you, Joel. It's shifting to the West.
It's just too bad that the East, they don't get enough coverage.
Alex lines out to left. And now Feldman has retired the last 7. And at the end of 5, we're still tied at 3. 3-0 lead at the end of 3, and Luke Hochevar retired the first 10, and then the Rangers hit back-to-back home runs in the 4th inning, and Luke bounced back in the 5th, facing just 3, and now Michael Young, Josh Hamilton, and Adrian Beltre. They got that rally started in the 4th, and Michael Young fouls back the first pitch as we visit with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. What do you see tonight?
Well, I see Luke Hochevar, a guy that came out and really kind of got things going, like we talked about earlier in the game. You want to see him get off to a good start, but then after being perfect for about 10 batters, it seemed like the bottom dropped out. We've seen that happen so many times with Luke over his career, and I'll be honest, I can't figure it out myself. I've thought about this. I'd be lying if I said I knew what it was.
Well, we thought maybe we had picked something up in the Rangers dugout, but it hasn't resulted in anything since. But as Hud pointed out, hitters are always coming together, and the good hitting teams, at least the veteran hitting teams, are all coming together in the dugout and talking in between innings. What are you seeing? What are you having trouble with? What's the hittable pitch tonight?
Well, the hittable pitches are balls out over the middle that major league hitters have been hitting for over 100 years. So look, there's no secret there. These guys are a good hitting team. They look for balls out over the plate, mistakes, and the couple homers that he gave up were balls out over the plate.
And that's the thing that's difficult to figure out with Luke. He can be on cruise control for so long, so many consecutive batters, and then once a base runner reaches base, maybe there's something happens that disrupts his concentration, things really just kind of fall apart. And this was a 3-run inning, but we've seen even bigger innings over his career, 5-run, 6-run inning.
And we've seen him this year do a better job of putting the lid on the inning when it gets to 2 or 3 runs before it gets to 4, 5, 6 in an inning, and then tacking on a couple of scoreless innings after that.
Talking with Michael Young before the game, when I brought up Luke Hochevar, he looked at me and he says, man, that guy, he's got filthy stuff. He's got really good stuff. So when a premium hitter like Michael Young tells you that's what's going around their clubhouse. Because they have respect for Hochevar and his stuff.
And he's pitched so well against the Rangers, during his career. 5 starts going into the night. He had a sub-3 ERA, had never been beaten by the Rangers. So he's had their number, and I think that's sometimes as a pitcher, you have that feeling that I'm pitching against a team I've really done well. And Luke's done the same thing against the Tampa Bay Rays. He's really been successful against some top of the division teams. And then his last game against the Minnesota Twins, he gives up 2 home runs. It cost him 7 runs, and a lot of times it's command, but sometimes it's just not finishing off pitches, and it's maybe throwing pitches in the strike zone instead of finishing out of the strike zone.
And he got Michael Young to go out of the strike zone. Good fastball at 94. Hochevar has struck out his 4th.
I heard you guys talking a little while ago about Ian Kinsler in a dugout, maybe picking something up on Luke, and Ryan heard your comment about, is that something that we've heard over the years? Is he tipping his pitches? And I remember a situation when Pat Borders was catching for the Royals in '95 and had played against him for a number of years when he was with the Blue Jays, and he was my catcher. And he goes, there was a book on you in Toronto, something you were doing with your glove, or oftentimes the pitcher has his index finger in his glove. He'll wiggle it when he's going to throw a fastball. He'll do certain things, and it really kind of got in my mind, and I tried to figure out what it was. And I think sometimes the mental part of the game is as challenging as maybe those little things like that.
Yeah, and Greg Nettles, when he was a veteran player with the Montreal Expos, he would sit up in the clubhouse. He didn't play very much. He'd sit up there for 4 innings, and he would come out after the 4th inning and say, fellas, I got him. And so there would be something that he picked up because he's a smart guy, veteran. He'd been around. He knew how to pick up little things, and that's what hitters do. They all do that in all walks of from A-ball all the way up to the big leagues. They all try to pick on something that can give a hitter an advantage, and it's not an exact science by any means. You might think you get it, or maybe there's a base runner that's out there, given location or signs, but he may not be exactly right either. So you always got to be on guard for stuff like that.
Yeah, so much of it is a mind game too, because I knew after Pat Borders had told me that I was doing something in my glove with the ball, I tried doing all these different things to correct it, but I could never figure out. You go to the video, you look at it time after time after time, and you could never pick it up when you're trying to figure that out yourself.
0-2 on Beltre. Homered last time up, struck out his first time. No balls and 2 strikes.
It's like Bruce Chin. Okay, Bruce, as you see what Beltre has done here, he's had him a home run. Bruce said that he was tipping pitches with his curveball. He would stick his tongue out. And I said, somebody let you know that? Yeah, somebody let me know that because he's changed teams. He's pitched for what, 5, 6, 7 different teams? 10, sorry. And eventually that will get back to you, so he started chewing gum. And that took it away.
Coach Aber gets the Rangers in order with 2 more strikeouts. Slam inning. Our contestant is John Edelman from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, John wins $200. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, John wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
You know, that was great having Monty up here, having a pitcher, and talking about tipping pitches, which goes on all the time, and hitters are always looking for. That's part of baseball, and it brings up a story that was really good. The Marlins in '97 were going to the playoffs. That was Jim Leland's team. Charles Johnson's the catcher. Tony Saunders was a left-handed pitcher, and I was like 10 for 15 off the guy. I raked him. So I step in the box, my last at-bat of the season. It's the last game of the season. They're going to the playoffs. We're out of the race. And I stepped in the batter's box, and I looked at the catcher, Charles Johnson, and I said, I got him. Stepped in, got another base hit, my 3rd hit off in the game off him. I'm doing the interview after the game down on the field in Philadelphia, and here comes Charles Johnson in his suit, comes out of our locker room. So he came through our locker room, out the doors to the field, and I saw him coming, and I wasn't sure what he was coming for. I'm going, what's he? And he came up to me and he goes, you told me you got him. We need him in the playoffs. We're going deep in the playoffs this year. And can you please tell me what you saw? And so I
Did you tell him?
I retired. It was at the end of my career, and I could feel him, his urgency, and I said, yeah, I'll tell you. He's wiggling his finger. Every time he wiggles his finger, he throws a curveball. So I would take the curveballs and hit the fastballs. And so he said, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. So I turned the TV on in the postseason. Saunders is pitching a game, and he has a patch sewn over his finger. Yeah, so that's how.
And the Marlins won the World Series.
They did.
Did you get a ring for that or a playoff share?
No, absolutely not. But that was a situation that I gave up the goods.
Billy 0 for 3 tonight against Feldman with 2 strikeouts. Well, we should point out that whatever the Rangers were discussing when we saw Kinsler and Beltre talking, since then, Kinsler has popped to short, and Beltre has struck out. So can't say for certain that they figured something out, but they thought they had, and they were talking it over in the dugout. But since the conversation, Luke Hochevar has retired 6 of the last 7. Kinsler makes the play on the right side. Salvador Perez is 1 for 3. So Feldman got into some trouble early, giving up the home run to Francoeur in the second, and then 2 more runs in the third. And now he's retired 9 straight. And he's had his way with Mike Moustakas, striking him out twice. Misses high and away, ball 1. No walks, 6 strikeouts for Feldman. Trying to win for the first time since August 4th when he beat the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium. 1-1. And to right center field, Cruz is there to make the play, and Feldman again gets the Royals in order, and now he's retired 10 straight. Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Now at 24 KC Metro locations. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. By AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. 3-3 tie as we go to the 7th inning. The Royals are 5-4. So far in this homestand. Cruz, diving play, Escobar, and he throws to Hosmer in time to get Cruz 1 away.
Okay, now that's a routine play for him. Even though it's nice, we see him do this whenever they hit a ball like that to him. The infield, especially the left side here, Moustakas and Escobar, they get dirty every night. They'll get grass stains or dirt on their uniforms, and they love playing, and they're very skilled. Guy over there has got a future Gold Glove in him. So does Eske, so does Moose, and so does Salvador. 4 in the infield here. 3 out of the 4 guys, excluding Escobar, it's their first full season in the majors. Gold Gloves don't happen in the first year. All-star games do, though. You can become an all-star in your first or second year easier than you can win a Gold Glove.
2-1 on Murphy.
But the potential here in Kansas City, Dayton Moore and the Glass family, they have a plan. It's been in motion for a few years, but it's slowly materializing.
And a soft liner will drop into center field as Murphy has his first hit since Tuesday. Parents, you can still sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, presented by U.S. Toy. Members receive a batting practice jersey, a backpack, water bottle, ticket vouchers, front of the line access for every Sunday fun run, and much more for just $20. Go to Royals.com/Blue Crew or go to the U.S. Toy Store in Leawood. Curveball drops in for a strike to Soto. He's 0 for 2. Luke Hochevar ran into some trouble with 1 out in the 4th inning, but he has qualified for a quality start, and now is a couple outs away from giving the Royals 7 innings. Pitch was up, and it's drilled to left field. Alex to the corner. It stays in, and now it gets by Alex, and Murphy is around third base. He will score on the double by Soto. It's just Soto's second hit of the series.
Okay, this ball, he hit it off the end of his bat. If he barrels it, it's a homer. But it kicks off the wall. Gordon tried to barehand it, and he missed it. Now, if he goes with his glove in there, he probably makes the play for sure off the wall and holds the runner from scoring.
The Royals will intentionally walk Mitch Moreland. And Kelvin Herrera has been throwing all inning for the Royals. After the intentional walk, Hochevar will be over 100 pitches. Just the second walk allowed by Hochevar tonight. And there's ball 4. Ned Yost heads to the steps, and out he comes. So Luke had retired 8 of 9 after the 3-run 4th inning, but in this inning, a single, a double, the intentional walk, and now with runners at second and third and 1 out, a Chevy call to the bullpen, and it will be Kelvin Herrera. Loaded one out in a 4-3 game. All right, the 4 players to win the Royals Triple Crown. George Brett, let's begin with him. He may have done it more than once.
I'm going to guess Chili Davis. He had 1 year here, but he had a really good year. Maybe that was the year he was a Triple Crown.
How about Mike Sweeney, Danny Tartable, Carlos Beltran?
I said Amos
You
Otis.
did. You said that during the break. And it was Amos Otis doing it twice, not George Brett. So Herrera inherits a mess. And he gets a ground ball out at second, and a double play with the speedy Gentry. So he comes on with 2 on, 1 out. He gets the double play. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Rangers by 1. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Kansas City's Power and Light District, over 500,000 square feet. It's the Midwest's premier place for entertainment. A 9-block neighborhood located in the middle of downtown and links the convention center to the Sprint Center. It features more than 50 unique and captivating retail outlets, restaurants, bars, and entertainment venues. Here's tonight's AT&T U-verse reverse replay.
Well, he had a little bit of reverse backspin on that ball, as that ball was a liner. I mean, he stepped all over that one. Pedal to the metal with that swing. First homer for Frenchie in a month. Exactly to the ding. He hit his last one against Chris Sale, the White Sox.
And in his second at-bat, he lined out to center field. So he's been on Feldman, who stays in for the bottom of the 7th with 94 pitches. And the Rangers are getting loose in the bullpen. Feldman has retired the last 10 Royals. And Francoeur fooled badly, strike 1. So as Rex said, his first home run in exactly a month, and just his second RBI in his last 19 games. 1 ball, 1 strike on Francoeur. He was already 2 for 4 against Feldman before tonight. And now a home run and a line drive to center field. Chops it to short. Michael Young gets a big hop and throws him out, 1 down. And now with left-hand hitting Eric Hosmer coming up. Ron Washington comes out of the dugout. And Feldman knows that he's coming out, although Ron Washington says, hang on a second. Let me allow my lefty to get a few more warm-up tosses. And now he'll make the call.
And they're all laughing at him. And Ron Washington, knowing him, he probably cracked a joke.
Michael Kirkman, a lefty, is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Pad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. You'll get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Just text @BAT to 31826 or visit Royals.com for details. Michael Kirkman comes on to face Eric Hosmer. One-run game. Rangers just regained the lead in the top of the 7th. And with Scott Feldman coming up on 100 pitches, Ron Washington goes with the fresh arm and the lefty to face Hosmer. And Hosmer 0 for 2 against Feldman, but hit the ball hard in his last at-bat. One ball, one strike.
Hey, Kirkman's going to use a fastball, slider, and a changeup. 3 pitches, pretty basic, but when you mix them all up and you locate them properly, you become pretty good.
In looking at his numbers, in 30 innings, he has a 156 opponent's batting average. That's great. But his ERA is 3.6. And usually a good opponent's batting average and a higher ERA, or an ERA that doesn't match, you go directly to walks. And it's down and away, 3 balls and 1 strike on Hosmer. And Kirkman in 30 innings has walked 16.
There you go.
Given up almost as many walks as he has hits. Got to pitch up. Drives it into left center field and deep. And Eric Hosmer ties the game.
That is some towering opposite field power there on a letter high fastball. Hosmer finally goes to the opposite field with some authority. That's where his power lies mostly, is right out there in the opposite field. He's got pull power, but he hits a majority of them that way when he does hit them.
13th home run, 56th RBI. The Royals answer the Rangers in the bottom of the 7th inning. Abreu slides over to the right side. He was 0 for 2 against Feldman. And to right field for Cruz. And that's out number 2.
Okay, Soto wanted that ball down, and you mentioned all the walks from Kirkman. He's a little bit erratic with his control, but that's where you don't want to throw him, for sure. He's able to get his hands extended, and when he gets them, he gets them. Now, 13 homers, 55 RBIs. I know some guys that would be thrilled with that season, but you could double those numbers is what they expect out of him a year from now.
It also takes Luke Hochevar off the hook for a loss. So now a no decision for him. So we're tied at 4 as the Rangers make another pitching change with Kane coming up with 2 outs. Ball presented by MasterCard begins at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, only on Fox. Eric Hosmer with a home run with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning to tie the game, and now Tanner Scheppers to face Lorenzo Cain. And Scheppers has appeared in 1 game against the Royals, and he's faced 1 batter, and that batter was Lorenzo Cain. He was 0 for 1. 31st appearance for Scheppers, who was a first-round sandwich pick of the Rangers in 09. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lorenzo has 2 hits tonight, singled and stole a base in the first, and then he doubled and scored in the third. 2 for 3. One ball, 2 strikes. Got it in on him, and it's still 1-2. Royals had a 3-0 lead at the end of 3, and Luke Hochevar began with 3 perfect innings. The Rangers hit 2 home runs and tied the game in the 4th. They took the lead in the 7th, and now the Royals have tied it in the bottom of the 7th. Kane went too far and strikes out, but Eric Hosmer with 1 out homers to the opposite field. And at the end of 7, in the final meeting between the Royals and the Rangers, we are tied at 4.
4. That's the score here as Panera takes us around the league. We'll take a look at all the action on a light night. Atlanta wins it 1-0. Miami 6-2 over Milwaukee. All right, got something interesting for you on this Chicago-Washington game. 2 bench-clearing brawls. I'll tell you about that in a second because it involves a good friend of ours. And then the big game in the American League, Baltimore and New York. Yankees trailing 6-1 in the 8th. They score 5 runs to tie it up. And then the bottom of the 8th, Nate Robertson comes in. Adam Jones leads off with a home run. Wieters gets a hit. Reynolds homers. Boone Logan comes in. Chris Davis homers. And the Orioles have stormed back to take the lead. Guys, as for that Cubs-Nationals game, our very good friend, former Royal, and our broadcast partner, Jamie Quirk, the Cubs bench coach, was ejected after getting into a big argument with Nationals third base coach Bo Porter. Now, we never saw this kind of behavior from Jamie, but I guess the Cubs had gone over and their catcher had gone to change catcher's mitts. And there was a little action in the bullpen, and I think the Nationals didn't like these stalling tactics, and then the arguments broke out, and the bench just cleared, and there ended up being a bench-clearing argument right by the Cubs dugout. So Jamie was ejected. And then a little later on, they might have the Cubs thrown right behind or right by Bryce Harper, and then the bench is cleared again, and more people are ejected. So I suspect that somewhere in the visiting clubhouse in Washington, our good buddy Jamie is maybe sipping on a cold beverage.
Did it go to blows?
Looked like there might have been some pushing and maybe some fists the second time around. Steve Clevenger, the catcher for the Cubs, was ejected. Manny Corpus, the pitcher, was ejected. And Michael Gonzalez from the Nationals was ejected. So, for the most part, it was more of one of these, these bench-clearing talks, as we say now. But
that's what I thought.
Yeah, but probably a good 15 minutes worth of delays in that one. And Jamie was heated. Oh, one other thing I should point out, the Storm Chasers now just got excited about Jamie. Ryan, you get that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that side of Jamie before.
No, and he looks intimidating now, too. He's got this gray goatee, like a Mark McGwire-looking goatee going right now, so he looks kind of tough, and he was angry and all that. Storm Chasers are losing 4-3. Final line on Verdugo, 6 1/3, 7 hits, and 4 earned runs, so they've got a little work to do to come back in that one.
All right, thank you, Joel. Michael Young, 1 for 3. Singled and scored on Hamilton's home run in the 4th. Getting a chance to play shortstop tonight. Kelvin Herrera came on with runners at first and second and 1 out in the 7th, and he got Gentry to ground into a double play, and now he has struck out Kinsler in this inning. And now ahead of Young, 1 ball, 2 strikes. You and Jamie Quirk have something in common.
We do?
Yeah.
Well, we were former big league ball players.
And both had long careers. That's not what I was referring to as Kane runs into right center field and retires Michael Young, 2 down.
Okay. He went to Notre Dame.
No, but he could have. So what would you guys have in common if he went to Notre Dame?
Nothing, because I didn't go there either.
Right, but he was recruited to go to Notre Dame just like you were.
I had signed a letter of intent, and unfortunately for the Irish, actually, fortunately, I didn't end up with them, but unfortunately, they lost their scholarship. Dan Devine, what a great, classy man. God rest his soul. That guy, when I got drafted by the Yankees and had to call him after I had to take the SAT test 3 times to get in their school, they were patient with me, and I called him up and said, Coach Devine, Rex Hudler from Fresno, California, I got to tell you that the New York Yankees drafted me in the 1st round, 18th pick in the country. And he said, son, I already heard the news. You need to go and take advantage of that opportunity. Mr. Steinbrenner's got lots of money, and if you ever want to come back here, you can. And I thoroughly expected he was going to be upset. And man, I just looked at the phone and I went, wow, this guy, what a nice man. But since then, the NCAA has changed that ruling, and the school doesn't lose their scholarship. when a kid does that to him.
So back then, once they committed it to you and you didn't take it.
I signed it already, though. I signed it. But I didn't end up going there.
So they couldn't get it back and then give it to another kid who was going to go.
Right. So since then, they made the right decision and changed it.
Hamilton on a couple of close pitches, and the umpires wearing powder blue in the crowd tonight feel like Herrera was squeezed. Thought that was outside.
So on the Notre Dame topic, I never got a chance to see a football game there, and this Saturday when we're off, it's a National Fox game. Our producer Joe Lavero is going to take me. We're going to get in the car and drive to South Bend and watch the Fighting Irish.
You expecting a hero's welcome when you go?
What? I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. They won't know me from anyone.
Adrian Beltre has homered tonight. He has 3 home runs in the series. He has 5 RBIs in the series. He has 5 home runs, 8 RBIs on the Rangers' current road trip. So he's about as hot as they come in the Rangers lineup at the moment. And here we are in the 8th inning in a tie game with Hamilton at first. And he gets around on a Herrera pitch. Didn't hit it very hard, but gets it out into left field for a base hit. And with 2 outs, a walk and a single for Texas.
Okay, earlier in the game, Beltre, he got him a little slider out over the middle he liked. And he drove it. Drove Kane right into the wall. Hit his 30th home run. Okay, Dave Island would like to see Herrera use that fastball on the outer half of the plate. Even though it's 100 miles an hour tops, it can be hit if it's out over the middle. It's got a slider and an excellent changeup to go with it. Plenty of weapons to get it by guys.
Cruz over a changeup. 0-1. Cruz is 0 for 2. He has walked in the series. He is 2 out of 12. He hit a home run in game 1 on Monday afternoon.
Cruz has struck out 125 times, so you can strike him out. And that's Herrera's specialty. Herrera has 67 strikeouts and 71 in 2/3 innings pitched.
Kane back in center field, and he runs it down. That ball carried on him. So Lorenzo Kane bails out Herrera and the Royals, and Texas leads 2 on base in the 8th.
Defense will help you win games too. Might have saved it for him. Nice play. Look at Salvi. He's at it again. You would think that teams would finally get the message, hey, look, don't get too far off the base because there's a beast behind the plate that wants to nail you.
Those were the 3 before tonight. And then Perez with his 4th pickoff of the year as he got Craig Gentry in the 5th. There's a line drive base hit into left for Alcides Escobar. He is 1 for 4.
Okay, those are the 3 prior pickoffs. Now here's tonight. Looks very much like the other ones. Quick. Throws off one knee when he goes to first base. But the pickoff a couple nights ago was sidearm. He picked off Kinsler and really helped out Guthrie. Picked him up, picked that out up, and they got out of it. Now they have a chance to get something going here. Escobar got him a fastball up, and he said, finally I get a clean base hit.
Keep in mind that record for the Royals for Perez, 4 pickoffs in 1 year. That's in 55 games.
Yeah. Yep, he's a special player. When I heard his manager Ned Yost talk about him in spring training, and he was injured, you don't hear a former catcher like Ned rave about a guy like he has with this Salvador Perez. He says this guy's done things and is going to do things that he may have never seen out of a guy that big. Big, strong. And fortunately, the Royals tied him up to a long-term deal. Same with Escobar. Same with Gordon. There's a future here. Good one. Get a few pitchers in the offseason. Okay, there we saw it again. Timeout in the middle of his windup.
Some of the fans are screaming for a balk, but timeout had been called. Escobar, 27 stolen bases, 5th in the league. He's only been thrown out 4 times. Alex goes the other way. It's going to be a long run for Murphy, but it's foul. And the league, we mentioned this earlier, but the league on Giovanni Soto, since he's been traded to Texas, is 21 for 21 in stolen base attempts. Alex tripled back in the 3rd inning, drove in his 63rd run of the year and scored. He has 2 hits tonight. 53 multi-hit games for Alex Gordon. That's the 3rd best in the American League.
Royals are 3 for 3 tonight in stolen bases.
Oh, and 2 on Alex. Shepard's running it up there at 96.
Okay, Alex Gordon. Tonight he's been on the ball. Short, quick swing, snuck it by Beltre. Then hits one off the end of the bat. He didn't get just 2. What we're normally used to seeing him hit doubles, he hits a triple. And for Gordon, that was his 4th triple.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Okay, outfielders are playing Gordon to the opposite field. Gentry straight up in center field. Up there, he's a shade to left field. Cruz, he's over as well. So if Gordon can hit this hole right here, if he can hit that hole between Moreland, the first baseman, and Kinsler, he could score.
Struck him out. Pitch was not a strike. Shepard's 2nd strikeout tonight.
Okay, now the outfielders are moving the opposite way. They're moving over to the opposite field for Billy Butler.
Is Billy due or is Billy due?
I would say overdue. August 11th was his last big fly. Or home run, whatever you want to call it. How about a tater?
Escobar can get a jump against Sheppers, and he's seen his move several times now. It would just take a base hit. Not running, and Billy takes one under the chin.
Now, those pitches are meant to back the hitter off the plate. Typically sets up something away, but they're going to stay inside.
Escobar started and stopped, and Billy gets jammed and grounds it back to the mound, and that's an easy double play. So we go to the ninth. The season series is tied at 4 apiece, and so is tonight's game.
For Boulevard Royals Live, all tied up at 4 after the game. We'll talk about Luke Hochevar retired. The first 10 batters, it was batters 11, 12, and 13 that gave him problems. Salvador Perez sets the Royals single-season record for pickoffs by a catcher in just 55 games. And we will get you ready for the first of 3 between the Royals and the White Sox. Luis Mendoza and former Minnesota Twin Francisco Liriano. Royals will see lefties throughout the weekend. Ryan?
All right, Joel, it'll be Tim Collins for the ninth inning and appearing in this series for the first time. And some left-hand batters are coming up, beginning with David Murphy. Collins with 87 strikeouts. Royals record for a left-handed reliever, and by a wide margin now. He would have to record 17 strikeouts before the season was over to break the Royals record for any reliever, held by right-hander Jim York back in 1971. So it'll be Murphy, then right-hand hitting Giovanni Soto, and another left-hand batter, Mitch Moreland. And Murphy jumps on the first pitch. Alex runs into the left field corner, and there is one out. Hochevar went 6 1/3. He gave up 4. Herrera an inning and 2/3. And now Collins. Giovanni Soto doubled into the left field corner in the 7th inning. That put the Rangers in front briefly 4-3, and then Eric Hosmer homered in the bottom of the 7th to tie it. And high ball 1-2 Soto.
You know, we talked about the back end of the Royals bullpen and how hard they throw and the strikeouts that they accumulate. And Collins, very impressive. 63 innings pitched, 87 strikeouts. 211 average against. Really good. Mid-90s fastball, big curve, and a straight change.
That's a strike, 2-1. There you go, the league leaders. Strikeouts for relief pitchers, and Collins has 10 more than the next closest guy. Steve Delabar, who started the year with Seattle and now pitching with Toronto, and then Greg Holland is third. Now it's 2-2 on Soto. Aaron Crow on the left, Greg Holland on the right. Popped up. Hosmer runs to the dugout suite, reaching, and did he grab it? He did.
Well, that ball, it was coming back. It has spin on it. And he goes over, finds the rail, stretches his long body as far as he could stretch it, almost fell in. Fans had a bird's eye view. And when he came up out of that first base dugout suite, he had him a souvenir.
They knew he caught it before we did. And now Moreland. As Collins unloads a pitch that drops about 2 feet in front of home plate.
Well, that's a beauty. We've seen 3 really nice plays tonight by Royals defenders. I mean, you can't stretch any further. He had all his arm, his glove. He caught that right on the end of it. Escobar, Kane's running catch to the wall, saved a couple of runs, and now that one there was. We see it nightly.
Moreland 0 for 2. The Royals intentionally walked him in the 7th inning. Out of play. Royals in the bottom of the 9th will have Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, and Jeff Francoeur. A good bare hand catch.
Are you kidding? That was a great catch. With the hang time that foul ball had on it off of Moreland's bat, no way. But like I said before, these Royal fans, they got hands, man. Look at that. He just handed it off to his buddy down the aisle there. Look at that. Made that kid's day. Thank you, sir.
And he got the call. Moreland can't believe it. He turns away in disgust. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Thought it might have been a little low.
We'll do it again.
No way. Another fan made a catch on the fly.
Good defensive plays all over the place tonight.
Unreal.
On the field and in the seats.
It's contagious. Guy brought his glove for a reason.
Yeah. And a foot-long beer can in the other hand.
Oh, wait, hey. Impressed his daughter, who was sitting a couple rows down from him.
Another foul ball, and Collins just going with the heat. One fastball after another to Moreland.
Might set him up for that big curveball he's got. Or he could use a straight changeup. He throws it to lefties or righties.
And he did go with the changeup. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Moreland looked like he really picked that pitch up out of his hand. Didn't get out over his front foot at all. Just watched the ball all the way into Perez's glove. So Perez will go back to the fastball.
He's having a good AB here.
Close and no swing, and Moreland walks.
You know, that's one heck of a plate appearance by Moreland. Because remember earlier in the count, he called that ball a strike. Of course, it was a little bit tighter than that, but Moreland laid off it.
Now the Royals are really treating Craig Gentry with a lot of respect. Number 9 hitter who has 1 home run this year, and this is the second time that Ned Yost has gone to the bullpen for Gentry. And the first move was for Aaron Crow to come in, but if you could read Ned Yost's lips, he turns the dugout and said, "No, I want Holland."
We had 2 righties up. Moose is saying, all right, the shorter guy. Now Moose is going to give the number. Escobar's pointing. Hosmer's saying, come on, get in here. We got a game to win.
And you can understand some confusion because Aaron Crow, a right-hander, also warming up, and Greg Holland doesn't usually come into a game with 2 outs in the 9th inning in a tie score. But the Royals, for the second time in 3 innings, make a pitching change in front of Craig Gentry. And it worked in the 7th as Herrera came on and got Gentry to ground into a double play. This time around, he bats with Moreland at first, 2 down.
You know, before they had telephones in the dugouts and in the bullpen, each reliever had his own sign, his own body language sign. And they would, if he was tall, the manager would go, I want the tall guy. You know, you go right-hander, left-hander, but then some guys were bigger than others around, and you would go, you know, make the sign that he's
like you've got a hula hoop around his
waist.
Yeah,
we want the big guy. So they did sign language.
1-2 on Gentry. And if the game was really long and they just needed to get it over with, what was the sign to bring in the tiebreaker pitcher?
I don't know. You might have to ask a skipper for that one.
That's a foul ball. Ball came up and hit Gentry after it hit the ground.
Holland jumped off the mountain like a cat. He says, I'll take that easy out. But he's going to have to go back and do it again, though. Right off his toe. Adrian Johnson, home plate umpire, he didn't waste any time. He called that foul. Holland's got really good weapons. He's got a good mid-90s fastball, slider, and a split finger.
2-2. Got him with a high fastball. Tied up to the bottom of the 9th inning. Royals going for the season series against the Rangers. Perez, Moustakas, and Francoeur coming up. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson. The producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis and the rest of our great Fox Sports Kansas City crew. This will be the third time that Mike Adams has appeared in this series. And on Monday, he gave up 1 run in 1 inning. And last night, he gave up 1 run in 1 inning. Salvador Perez leads off. And Adams falling off to the first base side of the mound and falling out of the screen of your television set. 1 ball and no strikes.
Yep, he has that unusual fall off like that, but you know, he's got really nasty stuff. He's got a good hard sinker. Slider with a lot of life to it. Occasional changeups.
1 ball, 1 strike. Salvador faced Adams last night and he walked.
See how that hard fall off to the right side. His pitching coach Mike Maddox said that he's downhill all the way and then his glove side swings him over.
Off the knuckles and out of play. Royals had a 3-0 lead. Texas tied it with 3 in the 4th. Texas took the lead 4-3 in the 7th. And Eric Hosmer tied the game in the bottom of the 7th with a home run.
Adams has only given up 1 home run all year to a right-handed batter.
Wanted him to chase. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Salvador Perez with a base hit tonight has tied his career high with an 11-game hitting streak.
Outfielders are deep. Beltre, the third baseman's hugging the line at third. Didn't want any doubles to get by him there.
3-2. Moustakas is next. On the ground to Beltre. Perez is out, number 1. Mike Moustakas is 0 for 3 tonight. He has not faced Adams in this series. And it's just 0 for 1 against the Rangers righty. Another close game for the Royals on this homestand. They are 5-4 against Detroit, Minnesota, and now Texas. 7 of the 9 games have been decided by 2 runs or less. 5 of the games have been 1-run games. Now here we are, tied at 4 in the bottom of the 9th. Moustakas grounds it up the middle and into center field. The winning run is on with 1 out.
Okay, so you gotta wonder if Gerard Dyson's going to come out and run for Moose. He's their super speed base stealer. So far, haven't seen Dyson. There, but maybe they're waiting.
So it'll be Jeff Francoeur, 1 for 3 tonight with a home run on a Frenchie quarter night. And many of the fans out in the right field cheering section are on their feet, anticipating that Francoeur will end this game with a thrill. And he takes inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
That pitch there that he just took is the same location as his home run early in the game. Second inning, Francoeur hit his 12th solo shot. Take a look at it. Same location. Ball was down, out over the middle. Got it on the line.
Drilled to center field, not deep enough. And Gentry makes the play in front of the track. So Francoeur just missed it. And Moustakas is at first with 2 outs.
Wrong part of the yard. Outfielders are playing really deep. No doubles. I play no doubles because that's the winning run at first base. And when you're back against the wall like that, you get to the gappers quicker. Get them in. Keep the run from scoring.
Hosmer tied the game in the bottom of the 7th with his 13th home run. He hasn't faced Adams in this series. And he's 0 for 1 with a walk in the past against Adams.
Hey, that was earlier in the game. Hosmer went to the opposite field.
And that was right after a pitching change. After 1 out in the 7th, Ron Washington went to the bullpen and brought in lefty Michael Kirkman, who promptly gave up the home run. And that pitch misses for ball 1. Adams is expecting Moustakas to take off, and Moustakas has 4 stolen bases. He's been thrown out twice. And Moustakas really doesn't have a threatening lead over there, but Adams just keeps throwing over to first.
No, and I'm wondering why Ned Yost isn't pinch running Gerard Dyson.
You know, in this case, Hud, maybe a little bit more of a dilemma for Ned Yost than it would be with Billy Butler, because if they go to extra innings, you're now talking about bringing in Johnny Giavotella II, moving Tony Abreu to third base. And you've got a bit of a limited bench.
Sorry, Joel cut out, but I think he got his point.
Yeah, but you're trying to win games now, this inning. It's a walk-off situation.
And grounded foul. Hosmer down in the count, 1-2. Well, it was a 1-out single from Moustakas. And there's been a lot of pitches thrown to Francoeur and Hosmer, which would have given Dyson a few opportunities to steal second.
And a doinker, any kind of a lousy single, and game's over. He steals. You know, I don't remember the last time Dyson got caught stealing. He's a prolific base stealer.
Tough pitch on his hands, and he fouls it off the third. Royals head to Chicago after the game. The Rangers go to Tampa Bay. Royals will play 3 in Chicago and 3 in Minnesota. A win tonight, they go 6-4 on the homestand. With a loss, it's a 5-5 homestand. Now Moustakas runs, and Hosmer grounds it, gloved, or at least knocked down by Moreland, and that saved the game. That ball gets up the line with Moustakas running, and this game is over. Instead, we will go to the 10th inning and a 4-4 tie. Link's beef jerky all summer long. Mike Moustakas getting a 1-out single in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Royals couldn't get him around. And Greg Holland, who recorded the final out of the 9th, he stays on for the 10th, which is the top of the Rangers order, beginning with Ian Kinsler, who's 0 for 4. Fastball at 95 for strike one. Pitch was up. Kane is back to the track. He's at the wall. He leaps, and it's just over his glove. And Kinsler is going to try for 3. He is safe. He just got under the tag.
Wow, that ball just kept carrying. It looked to me like Kane was pulling up on it. Looked like he was going to catch it at the wall. But now Ron Washington is going to argue and say that that ball was a home run. Now, I don't think it was because it hit the top of the wall. But let's see Kane here.
No, it's not even close.
Nope, just missed it.
Well, Kinsler should have had a much easier triple than that.
I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but he got under the tag there.
That's the second time in 2 games he's been off like a herd of turtles out of the batter's box.
Okay, Lorenzo Cain made an excellent catch a few innings ago that would have scored 2 runs, and he almost comes up with another one just over his glove. Great effort. Now they'll have to pull the infielders in. Hope that Holland can go to work here with nobody out against the teeth of their order.
So the Royals bring the infield in for Michael Young. And the pitch is down and in, ball 1. Michael Young 1 for 4 with a 4th inning single, and he scored on a Josh Hamilton home run. Young has 2 home runs in this series. And there's a base hit into center field.
Okay, this ball was hittable. See that short swing? He knew the situation. He didn't need a big long swing. There's a professional hitter there looking to just knock the run in with an easy swing. And Holland gave him a pitch. That was a mistake.
You brought it up earlier in the game what Rod Carew used to teach as hitting coach. Infield in. Just look for a pitch to hit up the middle.
Slap it. He was ready for it.
0-2 on Josh Hamilton. He had a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. He has homered twice in the series. The Rangers have hit 10 in this series. Perez can't find it, and Michael Young realized that, and he moves up to second base on a wild pitch.
Salvi did all he could. He knew it wasn't going to get far, and it was right over him.
Did he go? No swing. Third base umpire Fielden Colbreth. Wow.
Yeah, split finger curveballs, slider. Those 2 pitches worked down in the zone. Couldn't get him to swing at it. Okay, 15 pitches thrown by Holland. Have to keep an eye on that pitch count with nobody out here. You want Holland to be available for tomorrow in the weekend series against the White Sox.
And he strikes out Hamilton. Perez will throw down to first, and that's out number 1. Joe Nathan. He of 38 career saves against the Royals, warming up in the bullpen. And with an open base and Adrian Beltre at the plate, the Royals will put him on and go after Nelson Cruz. So Beltre's on for the 3rd time. And now Greg Holland and Nelson Cruz. And they hooked up in the game on Tuesday. Game the Royals won 6-3. Holland saved the game, and he struck out Nelson Cruz. Altogether, Cruz is 1 for 3 in the past against Holland. Cruz tonight has been the victim of good defensive plays twice. Alcides Escobar went diving up the middle on a ground ball in the 7th inning and threw out Cruz. And then Lorenzo Cain running to the warning track in the 8th inning made the play on Cruz. So he's 0 for 3, but he could be easily 2 for 3. Fastball is outside, 1-1. Late on the fastball.
Okay, Holland's maneuvering his way through with some good split fingers and fastballs that out of the zone. Got to stay out of the zone with this guy, or a 3-run homer would really hurt him. He's got pop to all fields, even here at the K.
Holland strikes him out again. 2 down in the 10th. And now it'll be Murphy. And now we get back to your pitch count comment, Hud.
Yeah, you can't overwork Holland in this situation right here. Now Ned has his reasons, I'm sure, but Aaron Crow was one of the right-handers out there with Holland, and they had a confusion of who they wanted, and he went with Holland. Didn't work out.
But now here in the 10th, Kinsler has tripled. Young has singled him in. And after an intentional walk, 2 on, 2 out. Holland struck out 2 in the inning, but with his pitch count getting up there where he may not be available tomorrow and or Saturday, Ned Yost goes to Francisco Bueno with left-hand hitting David Murphy coming up. And Murphy has Young at second base and Beltre at first. Murphy had 2 hits in the game on Monday, and that was his 5th consecutive game with multi-hits. And then he was hitless Tuesday and last night. He is 1 for 4 tonight. He is the league's 5th leading hitter with a .318 batting average. And that hit him. So that loads the bases with 2 outs, and it will bring Ned Yost out of the dugout again. So you got a right-hand batter coming up, Giovanni Soto, and now we will see Aaron Crow. Texas leads 5-4 in the 10th inning. They have the bases loaded with 2 outs. He's at third. Adrian Beltre is at second. David Murphy is at first. He was just hit by a pitch by Bueno. And now the 6th Royals pitcher tonight is Aaron Crow, and the 3rd Royals pitcher in this inning. And he misses outside to Giovanni Soto. Soto has just 2 hits in this series. He started all 4, but 2 big hits. He had a 3-run home run on Monday afternoon, and then he doubled, driving in a run in the 7th inning. That put the Rangers in front 4-3. The Royals tied it on Hosmer's home run in the bottom of the 7th. And now the Rangers have regained the lead in the 10th. Soto, a smash to Moustakas. He'll go to second base, and that's the inning. So the Rangers get just 1. It'll be Joe Nathan in the bottom of the 10th. And the Royals will have Tony Abreu, Lorenzo Cain, and Alcides Escobar. Get the night off, but in a one-run game going into the bottom of the 10th inning, Ron Washington goes with his regular man as Joe Nathan is shooting for his 30th save of the year. He has pitched twice in this series. Finished the game on Monday. That was a non-save situation, and then he saved the game last night, his 29th of the year, and his 38th in his career against the Royals.
Yeah, you know, they're going to have to see if they can get some action on the bases and be creative and find a way to tie this back up if they want to win it. Nathan's hard sinking fastball at 91 and 95. He'll cut his fastball, curveball, and a changeup.
And a hard slider for strike one. Tony Abreu is 0 for 3. No balls, 2 strikes. Really not much he could do with that pitch. So he's in the hole. Abreu has never faced Joe Nathan. Still throwing 96 miles an hour.
Plenty to get the job done.
And Andrews is tested right away. He bobbles and still gets Abreu.
Well, I'll tell you, that's how tough a shortstop, how hard that job can be, man. You slightly bobble anything you can't feel cleanly. Those runners, especially Abreu, runs good. Ooh. Just barely got him.
Good call. First base umpire is the crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom. And a big breaking ball for a strike to Lorenzo Cain, who has 2 hits tonight. Stolen base and a run scored. And then looks at a fastball and he's down 0-2. Spent some time last night talking about Nathan and that trade from the Giants with 1 career save to Minnesota and then became the Twins' all-time saves leader. Nathan actually began his professional career as a shortstop, and it was the Giants who moved him to the mound. Over Nathan, Kinsler behind the bag, and he fumbles, and that's not in time. So the ball has been slick for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 10th inning.
And when you got some speed, going to get you a knock. Are they going to give him an error on that? Just didn't come out of his throwing hand the way he wanted to. Instead of staying on top of the ball, he threw sidearm so it stayed up, and that's what allowed Cain time to get that in there.
Second error of the series for Ian Kinsler.
They gave him an error. See if the Royals can make it hurt.
Royals had some scoring chances after tying the game in the 7th. And in the 8th, Escobar singled. That was against Tanner Scheppers. And that was leading off the inning. But Scheppers got a strikeout and a double play. And then the Royals got the 1-out single in the 9th against Adams, but came up empty. Escobar, good swing, fouled it away.
Looked like Esky was trying to end it right there. He took a rip. Okay, he got a pitch elevated and just was a little out front of it.
Now they've given Lorenzo Cain an infield single.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to get upset for Cain, but, you know, that play that Kinsler make, you can't assume that he's going to throw out a speedy guy, even with a good throw.
And sometimes the bobble is a result of the fast runner,
right,
trying to be too quick.
Speed pressures.
Escobar last night against Joe Nathan had an RBI single. Nathan got the save, but he gave up a run in the bottom of the ninth. And now down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes.
Cain's got the quickness to get down to second base. He's 7 for 7 in steals this year.
Now, I bring up Nathan being a former infielder, even though it was a while ago. His only year on the infield in the Giants minor league system was 95, but he's always had very simple footwork and quick feet. You just saw that on the pickoff attempt of Lorenzo Cain. Pitch stayed up. Nathan down to second. Andrews to first. That's the game. That's the series, and that's the homestand. So the Texas Rangers win the season series with the Royals 5-4. And it's another 1-run victory for Texas in this series. Final score was 5-4 in 10 innings. We'll be right back.